Trump was mad because Mike Pence didn't obviously hand him the election. And actually, we found out a little bit more about what Mike Pence did and didn't do. I'm curious, do you think this is hero shit or this is just the bare minimum shit? So, yes, he certified the electors in Biden's favor. When the Capitol was under attack, we now know that he didn't actually leave the Capitol building, even though his entire staff got into their SUVs and were like, let's go, let's get the fuck out of here. And he was like, no. If I leave, that's a major look of cowardice on my part. I don't want to give them this satisfaction, this mob that's chanting, hang Mike Pence, because I won't do what essentially Trump wants him to do. We know that Mike Pence watched from the Capitol building the video of Trump essentially saying that he loves you, like he loves all the people who came out, but it's time to go home. We know that he never called Mike Pence. Trump never called Mike Pence after the riot broke out and after the Capitol was stormed to check in on him.
Right.
How you doing? But weirdly, and I don't know how familiar you are with Dan Quayle. I mean, there really isn't much to know about him.
I know he couldn't spell potato or something.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
He but apparently, like Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah. Wait, what about Ellen DeGeneres?
Didn't he dislike Ellen DeGeneres because she decided to be a gay human on television? I think that he had a problem with that. Yeah.
That feels on brand for Dan Quayle. Apparently, Mike Pence consulted with Dan Quayle to be like, yo, can I do this though? And even Dan Quayle was like, I have no idea how to spell anything. Constitution beats me. I don't know how to spell it.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I know that you definitely can't overturn the results of a Democratic election. So we know all this stuff about Mike Pence. And there was this phone call that happened before the Capitol was stormed. Not after, but before, where Trump got very mad at Mike Pence. And according to a couple of staffers, and including, I believe, Ivanka Trump, you're going to hear from an aide to Ivanka explaining how that phone call went down.
Did you hear any part of the phone call, even if just the end that the president was speaking from?
I did, yes.
All right, and what did you hear?
So as I was dropping off the note, I remember hearing the word wimp. Either he called him a wimp. I don't remember if he said, you are a wimp, you'll be a wimp. Wimp is the word I remember.
And the word that she relayed to that the president called the vice president, I apologize for being impolite, but do you remember what she said her father called him?
The P word.
Wow. The P word.
The P word.
The P word. That's a shook ass pussy. I'm sorry.
She should have said pussy with pride. She should have really said it.
I think the P word is it's like a S word also is.
Okay, I don't know which S word.
Or S-hole. I think you remember when Trump said shithole countries about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, brown countries, and everyone was saying S-hole countries. Like, first, that sounds worse. Don't say S-hole.
Because then my imagination just starts going, which hole is that? Like, no, you got to be specific.
Yeah, so apparently he called him a wimp and a pussy to his face or on the phone because he wouldn't overturn the election. And Mike, you're Mike Pence. What do you do? What do you decide? Where do you go from here? What's your political career look like after this? I
mean, look, honestly, I think if he wanted to, he could run for president this next cycle and he could win. Because
you think so?
I absolutely do. Because where the Republican Party has thrown their lot in with Trump, I think a lot of people had a massive realization while he was president. Mike Pence was on the front row to watch all of us realize how many of our political institutions are not bound by anything except for like handshakes and goodwill. Like that's what we all kind of realize is how much of this is just theater and tradition. And if you want to bad enough, you can burn it all down.
Right.
And I think most Republicans, as much as they've thrown their lot in with Trump, they actually don't want to burn it all down. I think they actually don't. I think that like people's psychology does want some sense of order. They want, I don't think anybody wants to think about politics as much as we have to now.
Oh God, no.
Because we know it's all at our doorstep now. So I think that like, I think Mike Pence did a really smart thing by separating himself from that utter chaos in that moment. Because if he had chosen to make that decision, then we have no future. Like
Yes.
he would have completely destroyed the democratic process. Like, because even as much as Trump was trying to tear that down, right? He's gonna fucking run again. So obviously he believes in it a little bit, right?
Right.
Or else he wouldn't be trying to participate in the process again.
Right. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I feel like we're gonna see. We saw there were, you know, some primaries this last Tuesday, and that I'm blanking on his name, but that, you know, one of the very few Republican senators, no, representatives, excuse me, who voted to impeach Donald Trump was defeated in his primary. Kind of on, it seems like on those grounds, and we'll see what happens with Liz Cheney, who polling apparently in Wyoming not looking good in her favor, and she's the face of this entire January 6th commission and the hearings. And there's a lot of Republicans who are testifying. That's the thing that I think is really notable about these hearings. It's not Democrats, it's not Adam Schiff, it's not the people who sort of led the impeachment hearings. It is a whole lot of Republicans kind of saying what you're saying, like, we can't do away with the democratic process.
Right.
Here's what that would mean. So that being said, all of these motherfuckers are setting themselves up through massive amounts of voter suppression and new voter ID laws and what have you for the same kind of BS in come 2024. But excuse me, but legalize stealing of an election. I feel like half of them, maybe not Liz Cheney, maybe not Kissinger, who's not running for re-election, but I think half of Republicans who didn't like what happened on January 6th were like, nah, see, if you just did it a different way, we would be fine with it, you know?
Yeah, the gerrymandering way they're still comfortable with. You know, they're very comfortable with that level of gamesmanship. But the outright disillusion of our traditions and institutions, you know, publicly, I think they had an issue with.
Right. So, yeah, we'll see for Pence. I mean, I think he may have a future. I don't know. Is Paul Ryan? I'm always afraid of Paul Ryan. It's like 3 a.m. and I'm like, what the fuck is Paul Ryan doing? That dude.
I mean, but I'm sure he got paid by the financial lobby so much. I don't think he has a thing to ever worry about ever again. I feel like he's always good.
Well, that's the thing with these Republicans is that if they do choose to leave politics, the future is this: get a job at CNN or MSNBC, lucrative, well-paid, whatever. Start a podcast, or just become a lobbyist or for a fucking financial institution. Exactly. Just make tons of money that way. Mm-hmm. So you're going to be fine. You don't have to stick your neck out anymore. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.